be honest, motivation feels amazing. That rush of energy when you decide to finally change your life, you can almost feel the new version of yourself coming alive. You start strong, you plan, you take action, you're excited. But then it fades. Suddenly, that fire turns into a flicker. The alarm clock feels heavier, the gym feels further, the to-do list feels impossible. And before you know it, you've stopped. You tell yourself you'll start again tomorrow, but deep down, you know how that story ends. Here's the hard truth. You don't need more motivation, you just need consistency. Because consistency doesn't depend on your mood, your energy, or your inspiration. Consistency doesn't care whether you feel like it or not. It just asks one question. Will you show up today? That's why people who rely on motivation keep restarting, and people who rely on consistency keep improving. So in the next few minutes, let's talk about why consistency beats motivation every single time and how you can finally make progress that lasts. Now, why does motivation fail in the first place? Motivation feels great because it gives you an emotional high. It makes you feel ready to take action, but feelings are unpredictable. They change with your mood, your sleep, your surroundings. The moment life gets inconvenient, though, your motivation disappears. That's why you can feel unstoppable one day and completely drained the next. You can't build a strong foundation on something that changes every day. That's going to be like trying to build a house on sand. Consistency, on the other hand, is the opposite. It's stable, it's boring, it's repetitive, but it's the one thing that guarantees progress no matter how you feel. And why does it win? Consistency doesn't care how inspired you are. It only asks one question. Did you show up today? Every small action you repeat, no matter how tiny, compounds over time. It's like drops of water hitting a rock. One drop means nothing, but over time, those drops carve through stone. That's what consistency does. It shapes you slowly, quietly, but permanently. Now, your brain is wired for efficiency. Every time you repeat an action, your brain strengthens that pathway, making it easier to repeat next time. This is how habits are formed. If you do something consistently, your brain starts saving energy by automating it. That's why at first, working out or reading might feel like a struggle, but after weeks of consistency, it starts to feel natural and even effortless. Consistency literally rewires your brain to make success easier. Motivation doesn't do that, it just only gives you a temporary push. Now let's break down how to build consistency step by step, and more importantly, how to actually keep it when motivation fades. Step 1, start small, and I mean ridiculously small. Most people fail because they start too big. They try to overhaul their entire life overnight, like wake up early, eat healthy, meditate, exercise, read, journal, all at once, and that is not discipline. That's burnout waiting to happen. True consistency starts small. If you can't stay consistent with one push-up, you won't stay consistent with an hour-long workout. So start with something so small that your brain cannot find an excuse to skip it. Read just one page, stretch for 2 minutes, write one sentence. It's not about how much you do, it's about teaching your brain to show up daily. Because once showing up becomes automatic, increasing the effort becomes easy. Step 2, attach your habit to a routine. Habits stick when they have a trigger. That means connecting your new habit to something you already do every day. For example, after brushing your teeth, take 5 minutes to plan your day. After your morning coffee, read a pitch from a book. After sitting at your desk, write down your 3 priorities. These tiny connections create habit chains. One action naturally leads to another. You don't need to think about it, it just becomes part of your rhythm. If you make your new habit part of something that already exists in your routine, it becomes almost impossible to forget. Step 3, track your progress visually. Progress tracking isn't just about accountability, it's about psychology. When your brain sees progress, it rewards you with dopamine, the same chemical that drives motivation. So instead of waiting for motivation, you create it. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or even a wall calendar. Every time you complete your habit, mark it off. That check mark or X becomes a visual reminder of your progress, a streak you won't want to break. It's not about perfection. Missing one day doesn't ruin everything. It's about keeping the momentum alive, reminding yourself, I'm doing this, and I'm moving forward. Step 4, embrace boredom and resistance. Here's a harsh truth. Consistency will get boring. You won't always feel motivated. Some days you'll be tired, distracted, or just not in the mood. and that's normal. That's part of the process. Real consistency isn't about excitement, it's about repetition. You're not supposed to feel inspired every day. You're supposed to show up every day. When boredom hits, remind yourself boredom means progress. It means your habit is becoming normal, familiar, and automatic. The best performers, athletes, creators, students, entrepreneurs all have one thing in common. They've mastered the art of doing boring things consistently. Step 5. Focus on identity, not results. Most people say, I want to work out more, but consistency truly lasts when it becomes part of who you are. Instead of saying, I want to exercise, say, I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss a workout. Instead of saying, I want to read, say, I'm the kind of person who reads every day. When you identify with your habit, you stop negotiating with yourself. It's no longer something you're trying to do, it's just who you are. The goal is no longer to achieve something, but to embody it. That's when consistency becomes effortless. Now, once you've been consistent long enough, something incredible happens. Momentum. You stop thinking, you just do. The effort that once felt heavy now feels natural. Your brain starts expecting the behavior, and missing it feels uncomfortable. That's when you've truly won, because you're no longer relying on motivation, you're being pulled forward by momentum. Now here's my final thought. Motivation can light a fire, but it burns out fast. Consistency is what keeps the fire alive. Slow, steady, and unstoppable. It's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you do every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. So don't wait for the perfect mood or the right moment. Start small, attach it to your routine, track your wins, embrace the boredom, and most importantly, believe that showing up even imperfectly still counts, because it does. Motivation may fade, but consistency builds character, and character builds everything else. If this video gave you perspective, don't just move on, apply it. Pick one habit, one thing you've been meaning to start, and commit it to doing it daily for 1 week. Not perfectly, just consistently. And if you want more practical videos like this about discipline, habits, and mindset, hit subscribe and stay consistent with your growth. Because at the end of the day, motivation gets you started, but consistency is what's going to change your life. See you on the next one.